Hello everyone, my name is Imperius and welcome back to Eviternity II. Today we're doing map number 23, Thor. And we're going to have a bit of a hot start here. There's quite a lot of stuff to kill. And we're going to do our best to do a very mediocre job at doing that. Which is the standard we set for ourselves on this channel. There are 640 enemies in this level. It is a pretty big boy, and it's got some pretty nasty, tricky bits to do. It is kind of like a big donut. It's like, I suppose in that sense, kind of like the last level, but the last level was a lot shorter, a lot of punchier. I mean, we had 50% of the enemies killed in the first 4 minutes on the last level. This one is about double the length, I think, of the 22. I said that it's the non-secret one, map 22, but has got, I think, harder set pieces, a lower ambient level of difficulty just because there's less intensity to it, but some harder set pieces for sure in this level, and quite a few secrets. One of them we're actually very close to, but we're not going to get it right now. So I'm going to come up these stairs and poke my nose out into this open area. I want to come out here, kill some stuff. I'm going to kill these chain gunners first because they can be quite annoying. And then by coming around here, you actually wake up a whole bunch of enemies as well that will come up. And we want to just start clearing out this area. Ideally, bringing the enemies as close to this ledge as possible. The reason for that is that later on they're all going to get resurrected by archviles, and if they're all clumped up we can kill them a bit more efficiently. Same with this room as well, actually. This room will fill up with archviles a little bit later on, so we do kind of want to clear that out. And we'll see if we can kill some of the platform enemies, like that Eratotron. Probably kill that Eratotron from here, but I'm getting eaten by cacodemons. So we'll deal with these guys first. Yeah, I really do like the design of this level. It's a slower burn than map 22. It's like a really big open base level that you can kind of just go around, do it in whatever order you want. You've got some difficult bits no matter what route you do, and I just think the aesthetic is really nice. The snow is really nice. It's really good, and I think actually one of the best things about this aesthetic is that the next level we're going to play, map 24, is essentially the same in terms of the design principles, but is even better than this one. And I like that. I like the fact we go from one to the next, and actually there's a step up between the two. I think it actually helps to make this level stand out even more because of it. But we're getting ahead of ourselves. We're not going to talk about map 24 in this video. We're going to talk about Thor. As in the name of this level, not the Greek god. Don't get those two confused. Although both have a bit of an ice theme going on, don't they? Or snow theme. I don't know, I always associate the Vikings with coldness. That's where they come from, isn't it? Scandinavian countries. Anyway. Now we've cleared that out, we're actually going to come down here and do this section next. But I do like to clear out that outside area first, just so that when I get round to that place, I don't get the enemies already dealt with, and they're dealt with in a safer way. So we could go get that blue armor now. It's just a secret, but we'll come back and get that a little bit later on when we really need it. I'm surprised he didn't aggro on the Hell Knight. I thought he got hit. And there we go. Right, we're going to come up here. There's a Revenant. He's going to be dead. He's going to be dead. He's going to be dead now. And then we can come around here. And there's a shootable switch off in the distance, which you can get from here, which will open up a secret wall for us where we can get a megasphere. But we're just going to kill these cacodemons first. And oh yeah, a load of lost souls come out of the area that we just opened up. The secret that we just opened up by shooting that shootable switch. It's not lost souls, it's a pain elemental. Actually, it must be both, I think. This is a pretty nasty trap. So we're going to go in, we're going to try and trigger the line without picking up the megasphere. Turn around, get out. I was kind of lucky there that the chain gunner's got the archviles, but like I'd already picked up that soul sphere on the basis that I would take a zap, which I did there for demonstrative purposes. Yeah, sure. But do watch out because the door does close behind you in that place, so you can't just run out. You have to kind of preempt that it's going to close and then be prepared to open it on the way out. Not a big deal, but if you're not expecting archviles, it can catch you. There's a secret switch in that pillar, which lowers the mega armor. I think it's on a timer, so you do have to grab it quickly. And now we can come up here, we can get some ammo, and I think everything's dead. No benefit of running across those pillars, just wanted to do it. Now, we'll go down this corridor, and there's quite a lot of enemies out of the window to my right, which we'll have to deal with. So do be careful of them, try and not stand by the window because of that. But also don't go too far down this corridor because it is booby-trapped. There's a berserk at the end of it, but there's also a little trap waiting for you there. So we're just going to be very cautious here. We're not going to pick up the berserk because I don't want to... I'm going to have to jump out the window. This is a little suboptimal. I kind of got to decide where to go now. So I am going to try and stay in this area for the moment. Focus down the revenants. That didn't go as quite as I planned. I was planning on running back down the corridor, but now we've kind of got to improvise, and I'm just going to run all the way back to these stairs, which is at the foot of the area where I got the blue armor. See, like I'm back here now, and I'm coming back down the corridor. I would recommend, if you've got it, probably the plasma gun just to avoid that kind of situation, but if you can, just try and turn around and go back down the corridor rather than jumping out, because especially if you're not prepared for all the stuff that's down there and out there, it's probably going to cause you a bad time if you try and just jump out of the window like I did. Certainly if you do that later on in the run, there can be some real nasty stuff out there, so yeah, where possible, try and just turn around and run back down the corridor would be my suggested method of dealing with that section. And then we can just sort of slowly make our way back through. I prefer to clean as I go. So, taking it slowly, room by room, methodically just clearing it all out. A lot of this is going to be repopulated later, with some truly horrible enemies. And I want it to all be clear now so that we can just deal with them on the way back. Yeah, rocket launcher's not the great choice here. That Cyberbear, I'm pretty sure he's Annihilate Me exclusive in that corner there. It's pretty mean, but that's the way it goes. Good. And you should see we're back in this area now. And thankfully everything's dead. So much easier to deal with it the way that I did at the start, I think, than doing it as you come for that particular example. So we're going to drop down here. You can see the yellow key. You can see these revenants that I'm not managing to dodge. And we're going to get ourselves up there, but we've got a bit of work to do first before we can get up there. Eee, that was a glancing shot, wasn't it? That did like no damage at all. You know, back in the day when I was younger, when I was playing Doom, I used to think that the damage that enemies did was based on where they hit you and if they hit you in the back or not. So like if it was a direct hit in your back, that would be like a max roll damage, whereas if it like just hit your arm or something, that would be like a min roll damage. And I believed that for a very long time until I sort of started mapping myself and realized that actually it's just RNG. So you don't need to come into this area with the chain gunners, but I think once they wake up, it's better to deal with them than leave them alive. Usually I come in from the top, so we'll be coming in, like this would be the last room I would do. And I'm still kind of torn because I do want to do it that way. So I think I'm going to stop and just pick up the ammo and then maybe go from the top instead. Because there's a bit more I'd like to clear out around here. So we'll come back to that room, but we'll come back to it from the other direction. Good. Ooh, shotgunner. The difficulty on this level, it's not too bad. Like it's reasonably forgiving, as you can see. Like, I mean, what was that? That was atrocious. But it tends to be when levels are reasonably forgiving, my play tends to be a little bit more sloppy, which I think is what we're seeing here. I've also done this. I mean, I've done this a couple times now. I died on the final fight. Well, not the final fight. I died on the blue key fight at least once. And maybe the final fight. I don't think I did die on the final fight, actually. I feel like this is at least my third attempt, but I'm struggling to think exactly where I died. It might have just been an ambient death for not sort of playing tightly enough. I definitely died on the blue key fight, and we can talk about that when we get there. But the point is, I've played this a few times now, so I kind of know what's coming, and it's not as crisp. The gameplay is not quite as crisp as I would like, or that I think I could do if it was like really serious. Because I know that this is relatively forgiving. Like, I don't need to play perfectly to get through this, which is good. I think too much of that can be a little overwhelming. And we haven't actually done any of the difficult fights yet. But there is a secret here, so there's a switch in the bottom of that pillar. You can run around here. I recommend standing on the lift so that it doesn't close behind you. So you just do it like that. And then if you're lucky, that Blue Baron and Astral will infight. If you're not lucky, then you can lure them out and just kill them normally. But yeah, getting stuck in there with them is kind of a death sentence, so do the little trick with the lift wall and you can lure them out. So we're quite happy to pick up the Megasphere now. I've still got that one back with the Archfire Chain Gunner secret at the start that I can use if I need to. Instead, we're going to come up this lift and we're going to go this way. Push the switch. That will lower the yellow key. We can get a plasma gun. There's a little ambush here, but you can get out of this pretty easily. 40 damage. Could have been worse, actually. we go. Get those extra cells up to 600. And we're going to get the yellow key. Now, watch out when you come back up here. That's an interesting little trap, that. Because it doesn't activate on the way down or the way back. It only activates once you've picked up the yellow key. And I know that you can't do, like, scripts in Boom. You can't, right? Boom doesn't have... This is DSDA, isn't it? You don't think you can do scripting in that. So I'm intrigued by how they had that conditional trigger to open up a room in a non-ZDoom format. It's impressive. I've only ever mapped in like a ZDoom sort of format, so I would just script for things like that. But yeah, no, I've never really gone for the vanilla experience, or the more vanilla experience, the limit removing experience, I suppose, best described. Now, do watch out when you come around here. There are, I think, there's 2 Astromancubi, and there's a whole bunch of floating enemies as well. You can kind of funnel them down the steps, which is an effective way to deal with them. But do watch out that you don't just get got from the side, I suppose. I'm sure there's 2. Yeah, there is 2. Look, there's the other one. Remember, you do not need to move if he fires the green shot. But you absolutely need to move if he fires the yellow shot. So I'll pick up that soul sphere now, because I'm not going to come back to this area, and I do want to be at max health for this fight. This fight's pretty tricky. So we've got max cells. Push the switch. Pump as many rockets into these barrens as possible until the wall to your right comes down. Switch to the plasma gun. Push your way through, which may require quite a bit of health. That was a sloppy one. You can usually do it cleaner than that. Come into this room and continue to fire rockets. And that's the strategy. Yeah, I think that's the most health I've ever lost doing that one. I mean, of course, it would be the recorded run. Usually, I mean, I practiced this particular fight quite a bit to get that method down, but usually you don't lose much health, if any. But it doesn't really matter, because there's a megasphere here. And, a little weirdly, right after the megasphere, a secret blue armor. Which is kind of redundant, right? Like, I get that maybe that's an ultraviolence Annihilate Me difference, but could you not have changed it to something else? Even a cell pack would have been more useful than a second blue armor. Although we will make use of it. Anyway, we push that switch. You want to kill the astral arachnotrons as quickly as possible, and then come down to this hallway and just start pumping into it. Why is there a lost soul here? Where are these guys coming from? Alright. Here we go. Yes, so make sure you try and kill those those archviles as quickly as possible before the floaters get to you. They do take a little bit of time to get here, but if you're quick, you can kill that room full of archviles before they get to you. And now we can pick up all these little health bonuses, armor bonuses, sorry. Plasma gun on, go up this lift, and then there's a couple things to kill up here. And we are back to 200, but richer with a blue key. Now watch out for this. I recommend getting plasma gun and pushing your way out. You do not want to get caught in that little area down there. Yeah, those are some high tier nasty enemies. But once you're comfortable, go back to the double shotgun and then you can just clear stuff up. And there are more cells around here as well, remember, if you need them. So we're basically back up to 600 again already. Christ, that scared the crap out of me. Goodness me. What was that? Christ. Was that lucky or unlucky? I feel like I didn't do much damage to me, and I feel that legitimately should have killed me. Okay, new piece of advice. Make sure all the astral cacodemons are dead before you go down in the narrow corridor. Christ. Okay. So what are we doing now? So we've got the yellow key, we've got the blue key. We need to go to the blue door, of which I think there's 2 ways you can go into the blue fight. To get the red key, and the red key, which is where we just were, opens up the exit. So I suppose when I said that I died on the blue key fight, I actually meant I died on the red key fight behind the blue door. But we're going to get to it. I just want to pick up this Megasphere first, because I definitely want to be at 200 for this fight. And here's the other entrance. So what is this fight? We go down into this little pit. We can't get out. We're going to push a switch, which will lower a whole bunch of ice walls. It will open up into a big arena, and there'll be all manner of nasty enemies, including a couple of archviles. So it's quite tight. It's quite claustrophobic. The plasma gun just doesn't quite have enough punch, and the rocket launcher is obviously difficult to use because of the cramped conditions. So it's a tough fight. It's a good fight. Step 1, press the button. Step 2, come and stand over here and just try and kill as many enemies as you can until you start to get overwhelmed, and then switch to the plasma gun. And now we're basically just going to keep the plasma gun on. And I kind of want to draw the enemies over here until I have to vacate, which I feel like is now. And now I'm going to run to the other side to try and draw the archviles away from all the corpses. I'm also going to try and get the Megasphere, which I did. And now I'm just kind of holding left mouse and praying. I got a little bit stuck there, but it's okay. We're going to make it work. And there you go. Like I said, I find that pretty difficult. That was a good attempt, I think. I'm pretty pleased with how that went. I think make sure you know where the cell pickups are if you need them, if you run out. Try to come into the room with 600, and just give it a few attempts. Save practice that one because it does take a little bit just to get that one down. Now, we're going to come back up the lift. Like I said, there's an archvile that's come. There's going to be a whole bunch of archviles down there. This is one of the reasons we tried to kill those enemies a little earlier on, to group them up. The Astrals, I'm going to try and draw down this tunnel so that their corpses are nowhere near an archvile. And then I'm going to use my rocket launcher just to kill the archviles when they're all grouped up against the little ledge. I can see there's Astrals in the background. I'm reluctant to push forward until they're dead, but this guy is thankfully coming straight for me. So we're just gonna dodge and dip and dive and duck a little. Be careful that doesn't happen, that the archviles don't catch you. I kind of want to retreat and get some health, but I think that would be poor strategy because I definitely want to keep those archviles clustered up here until they're all dead. So I'm gonna push through. I'm gonna try and kill them. I think there's just one more now. And now he's dead. I think we're there. Excellent. Well done. Really? One of those Arachnotrons got revived. That's interesting. So we're just going to have a look around. We're just going to try and get some health, give myself a bit of a buffer. And I'm going to come back up this way so that I'm still at the top. As we go around and try and clear out the rest of all this. I'm kind of impressed that guy was managed to be revived, given that he's on top of a little plinth. Kind of concerns me that he's there. I do need to kill this archvile in here first, I think. Must be weak by now. I'm going to push inwards. Yeah, there we go. Like he's right in the middle of the pillar. How on earth did he get revived? Maybe he didn't. Maybe he teleported in. So, we've just got the end to do now, and one more secret to get. Now, do be careful when you come around here, because this area is opened up, and there's a whole bunch of Astrals and a Archvile. This is what I said earlier, like all of this repopulates, which is quite, and it's a nice touch. And I feel like it's done fairly well as well, fairly organically, with some of like the walls coming down and new areas opening up. I think that Archvile is still alive somewhere. Is he? Did I kill him? I guess so. Now, we want to come back down this corridor. Oh, there's another Astral Cacodemon. Always check that you're out of Astral Cacodemons. My goodness, those things are terrifying. But there's a secret plasma here, and there's a secret switch which will lower this little ice wall. Again, more Astral Cacodemons for us to deal with. But otherwise, like in terms of our kill count, you can see bottom left, we're only like 20 enemies left to kill. I'm getting closed in on by an Astral, though. I need to get out of this corridor again. Christ. Go. One more. Ah, there's a whole bunch of these things. Right, what am I doing now? I'm going to go get this Megasphere. Now I seem to remember on Ultraviolence that Megasphere is a BFG. So that is something I really like. Because it changes this final fight. Pre-fire some rockets as you back into the room. There's an Archvile that's going to come. He's your main focus. Kill him at the expense of everything else. And then run back to the door and hide. There's only 2 Astral Cacodemons, and they are both on my right-hand side. Thankfully. One of them's dead. One of them's dead? None of them are dead. They're both still alive. These are the toughest Astral Cacodemons I've ever come across. He took like 5 rockets and 20 shells. But not to worry. The Barons can't actually get out of the lift, so they're pretty much static. And then the Cacodemons are not a threat. But if you stay at the back here, you are relatively safe, which is why I say prioritize firing those rockets like I did. It's a pretty tricky fight. I definitely had to practice it a few times with like saves and loads, but I don't think I've ever actually died here. I gotta actually say this is probably the worst run that I've done of this particular fight. Now, we have finished the level, but we have one slight problem, which is that we're missing one enemy. And I suspect I do know where he is. I suspect he's back in the red key arena behind the blue door. I have had this happen to me before, so that's the first place to check. Oh crap. I was kind of banking on that. Oh fucking hell, it's an astral cacodemon, of course it is. Why wouldn't it be? Stealthing around trying to kill me when I'm at 31 minutes and 99.9% of enemies killed. Those things. Anyway, now we are done. All the kills, all the secrets. Map 23. A really good map. I really enjoy it. I'm really enjoying this ice theme episode overall. I think 22 has been really good. 23 has been very good. And we've got the joy of 24 to come next. So thank you all very much for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.